I need glasses so I can see.
So you can see to talk. That's the rolling joke here on Faith and Frames.
I can see. Now I can talk.
Therefore, you
Therefore
must be
I
able
am.
to talk.
Therefore I am. Good morning.
Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you find yourself along life's journey. Wherever.
Yeah.
Wherever, whenever.
Yeah.
Hopefully,
We'll always be together.
hopefully you're tuning into us.
Us goobs.
Us goobs. Actually, I'll say this. If you are, I'll say two things. Bless your heart, first off. As we
Two words. Bless your heart.
as we like to say here in the South, and also another two word that is actually two words is thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank
Means
you.
a lot.
Means a lot. Appreciate it.
Glad you're here.
Appreciate it. Hey, so we've been dirt track racing, and I'm not. It's weird. I used to be a huge proponent of keeping a very, very clean vehicle.
Yeah.
In my later years as a husband and father, I have just decided that there are some things that are more important in life, and so as a result of those two events, I have kept dirtier vehicles.
So you're saying cleanliness has...
With regards to the vehicles, like my wife still does a great job cleaning the house.
I actually did notice your wagon's looking a little more red tinted as of right now. It's covered in red clay.
As of right now, that is not a true statement because I ran it through the old auto wash.
Oh, shoot.
On the way over here.
Well, at the Chinese restaurant during lunch, I saw that it was
that's
quite
because
dirty.
this was between the two events. Yeah, yep. Funny enough, though,
See, I didn't have my glasses, so that I couldn't see that you had cleaned it.
Well, so it's funny. We were dirt track racing, which here in the South,
Sports.
that is like a staple of Southerndom.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But it's also really dirty, as the name would imply.
I think dirt track. Wow, I just botched that. Dirt rat racing.
Something like that.
Dirt track racing. I'm gonna have to throw some images from dirt track racing into my photo book. Which I've not created yet, but I've over the past couple of years shot things that I've dubbed Southern Love Affairs.
Oh, okay.
Dirt track racing, certainly one of those, along with fairs, county fairs specifically, demolition derbies, and tractor pulls.
Well, so we do all of those events here on red clay.
Yeah.
Which does have a very orange/red hue to it.
It's tinted.
It's different than sand.
Yeah.
Anyways, my wagon was covered in it.
Yeah.
And I ran it through the old automatic. And this brings me to my point that I was ultimately trying to make. So I'm sorry that we squirreled this long to get to this.
Big furry squirrel.
And actually, now that I think about it, the payoff of this whole story sucks. So thank you for following along. But I went to the old automatic car wash. Wash was like $10 or something, and I was like, I've got a $20 bill right here.
Yeah.
Slung that sucker in there. I guess I thought I would get a $10 like paper bill in return.
No.
Guess how it made my $10 and change?
It gave you a coupon, a discount coupon. No?
$10 in quarters.
Oh, man, that sucks. I figured it would give you like a gift card that you could only use at the Shine, or you had to choose the ultimate wash package.
I thought back to my childhood days when I was back at Mr. Gaddy's getting my tokens. It just kept spitting out quarters.
Mr. Gaddy's Pizza?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, I love Mr. Gaddy's.
Is it still a thing? No,
not anymore. Not anymore. But
I guess Chuck E. Cheese is probably the closest thing that everybody else would understand. But like you go to exchange your cash for tokens, and it just keeps spitting out coins so you can go play the games. Yeah, it just kept spitting out quarters. I think 40 of them to be exact.
Good grief!
Right, 4 times 10.
Wrong person to ask right here.
Anyways,
I can math sometimes.
Anyways, that was. My pockets are really heavy as a result of that right now.
Well, speaking of big numbers, Jared, I for the longest time in my lifetime have been consuming big numbers and large quantities of caffeine.
Yes, I can.
Which is why whenever MagicMind reached out to us with their mental performance shot, we looked at it. I thought it might be a good idea to partner with them to maybe help me mitigate that caffeine addiction. And we've been able to do so, actually, with the MagicMind Mental Performance Shot.
Nice.
This is a matcha tea shot designed to improve your focus, mental clarity, and your ability to think straight, whether you're creative, tired dad like us,
Yeah, very
or
tired.
whatever you're trying to do in your life. The cool thing with their mental performance shot is it's not designed to replace your caffeine intake.
Okay.
However, it is designed to supplement what you're already doing. In my case, I was able to reduce those numbers
Nice.
a smidge and gain more clarity focus. They do this with clean ingredients such
Right.
as ceremonial grade matcha tea shipped straight from Japan,
Wow.
organically grown lion's mane mushroom straight from the great US of A here.
Okay.
And for our audience, if you would like to try the MagicMind Mental Performance Shot for yourself, go down the link in the description below and use code MOTIONTRIAL at checkout for a free sample pack of the MagicMind Mental Performance Shot.
So it's been a big help to you then.
It has been a big help, actually.
Nice.
So, yeah, was able to
Nice.
reduce the numbers. Didn't really feel the need for that afternoon energy drink anymore.
Yeah.
So.
Which, I mean, that's a good thing, actually.
It is a good thing. It is a good thing, and hopefully one day I can totally wean off of it.
Nice.
No promises, though. Meat and taters. Jared, get us the meat and taters. Today we're talking about how to book more clients as a beginning photographer.
As fate would have it, this topic came about, and we decided we would discuss it on the podcast, literally because in one of our local photography groups,
Yes.
someone posed this question.
The POG group.
Yeah, the photographers of Greenville.
Yeah.
They said, I don't even remember who it was, but they said, how do you advise, or do you have any advice on
Getting more bookings.
how to get more inquiries and ultimately how to get more bookings?
Yeah.
They stated that they were a little slower than they thought they would be this time of year type thing. So I read a few of the comments, but obviously I had my own. And so, yeah, that's just kind of what we want to talk about on today's episode.
Nice.
The first thing is a very controversial methodology to some, but it's a pretty tried and proven methodology, and it's basically the free to fee.
Yeah, free
method.
to fee.
Yeah, you start out free and ultimately end up with being paid a fee.
Yeah, you work your way into paid bookings.
So
what does free to fee look like?
So one of the things that I mentioned to her in my response was, look, if you are not currently getting the number of bookings that you want to be, or that you've got more availability, you would like to be busier than you currently are. One way to do that is to make yourself busy. And basically what I mean by that is, if you're not getting paid work, then you've got time and you've got opportunity to go do free work, which may seem counterproductive because you've invested all this money into camera gear and all these other things. But like, if people aren't booking you, then they're not seeing enough from you to reach out to
trust you with their dollar.
Yeah, to trust you with their dollar. So what you've got to do is you've got to put more work in front of them. And so the easiest way to do that, let's say you're a couples photographer.
Reach out to couples.
Yeah, reach out to couples. And this is a chance for you to be very selective.
Yeah.
Right? Because,
which is actually a good place to be when you can be choosy about who you're reaching out to or what entity you're reaching out to. Like if you're wanting to get into commercial photography, whatever, like you get to choose the subject matter. You're not taking a booking that you're not so savvy about. You can go pick the person or the people or the business or whatever.
And one of the really cool things too about the free to fee is, like, if you are doing the reaching out, again, you do get to pick who you're reaching out to, but also you can be very selective in location and time. Whereas in other cases, like if a client is actually booking you, they may have a specific location in mind that they want to shoot.
Already lined up.
This is the time in which we can, and they may not be the most opportune.
Right.
So like, you can really build a really beautiful portfolio here with this free to fee method, because you get to be selective.
Yeah.
And so another thing that you might want to try to do is, like, especially if you want to be in the portrait space. Yeah. There are tons of people who are like aspiring models.
Yeah. Models. Yes.
Well, I mean, they're starting too.
Right.
And so here's the thing. There's a symbiotic relationship.
Good collaboration opportunities.
Right. You can trade photographs for sitting fees or session fees. Like, look, I will give you 15 to 20 of these images that you can put into your portfolio, send out to agencies, etc. If you will work with me, I want to work with you, and we can both benefit from this.
Yeah, we both get a portfolio. Neither of us has to come out of pocket.
Yeah.
Like
so it's a win-win.
Yeah, it's a win-win for everybody.
For both people. And one thing that I will say is, like, portrait work is basically portrait work.
Yeah.
Those lines can be blurred in the sense of, like, family portraits, senior portraits,
engagements.
Yeah,
couples,
those things
like
can kind of be mentally arrived at the same destination by the
as a
client.
portrait photographer.
Yeah. Whereas that kind of brings us into the next point.
Yeah.
And it's literally display what you want to attract.
Yeah, you have to have appropriate subject matter for the niche that you want to be in or the people that you're trying to attract.
These are two opposite ends of the spectrum here, two extremes. I don't know that I could think of a more extreme difference here, but like if you're a car photographer,
automotive,
but you aspire to shoot weddings, listen, do you think some couple,
we'll call them Bob and Susie,
are going to see your beautiful car photography and be like, hey,
this is the guy.
Do you want to shoot our wedding?
I don't think so. And it could even be, I don't care if you're shooting Lambos and Ferraris. Like if they don't see themselves in those pictures,
right,
they're not going to book you.
The common person cannot make that substitution. No different than I think this is the best reference that I can think of. Like when someone is walking into a house that is being gutted and remodeled or it is being built from the ground up, most people cannot walk into a house that only has frame and stub and two befores.
Yeah, they can't see the finished piece.
They can't see the sheetrock on the wall. They can't see it painted. They can't see it with flooring and like they can't see the finished piece when it's not there. No different than your client cannot see themselves in work that is not similar to them.
Yeah. Well, no,
we
I'll
dealt
give you,
with it.
I was going to say the real world example here, folks. These two guys right here. Whenever we started making a transition from weddings into like the corporate and the commercial and social media space, we really had to lean into spec work, which is free work, or heavily discounted work, because we didn't realize it at the time, but we were sending businesses our wedding reel, and not hear anything back. We were getting crickets, and we're like, "Gosh, we thought these weddings looked good. They had a good feel to them, XYZ, whatever." But no, businesses could not see their business in a wedding video. Which now I look back at that, and I'm like, "Well, duh." Of course, they're not going to see that.
Well, and as creatives and as people who are photographers or videographers, and understand that the technical skills, those for the most part translate and those traverse. So you're like, look, yes, I have created beautiful wedding videos. It's quality. I know how to use my camera, all of these things. I understand lighting, all of these things. Why on earth can a business not substitute themselves and be like, I bet you they could do a high quality commercial? Well, like I said, people just can't make that translation.
Summers Taylor did not see our wedding reel and say, you are the guys.
Hey, come shoot our heavy machinery. So
they had to see similar content.
All of that to say, you need to be putting out what it is that you want future work in. And that's not to say that you can't shoot car photography if you want to do.
Yeah, we've said this a lot. Shoot what you want to, but when it comes to your business,
understand you are going to attract only
whatever
what people
shooting,
see. So
agreed.
That's it. That's a very big point. If you want to start booking more family family portrait sessions, you need to be putting out a lot of family portraits.
Yeah,
so that people can say, "There's my portrait photographer."
Yeah, agreed.
So you're gonna attract what you're putting out, which is so hard to wrap your mind around. But
it is especially when you're first starting, because you think that no, I have to do anything and everything. And again, to a degree you do to learn what you like and then from there mold it. Let's move on to our next point. I want to break this one up into two, I guess, sub points. So this will be 1A and 1B, or 3A, 4A, whatever number we're on.
Right.
A and B, because there is an approach to each, and I know you prefer one approach. I like another approach, but I think both are very important when it comes to how are you advertising yourself whenever you're trying to get more inquiries and more bookings.
Well,
and off camera, you mentioned a very specific scenario when it comes to, like right now with social media, algorithms are weird. Instagram specifically is trash. Yeah. Sorry, Meta, not sorry.
Yeah. Well, it's still to this day in 2024, it's still the best free form of advertisement. Now, again, there are variables outside of your control regarding the algorithm and who actually ultimately sees it, all of those things. But I personally have been a victim of this victim mindset. Like it's so easy to sit here and say, especially as a photographer, where Instagram has kind of moved very heavily into Reels, which is a video format, not photo format. It started as a photo app, all these things. It's so easy as a photographer to just literally sulk in your sorrow.
Bask in your pity.
It is. It's so easy.
Wallow.
It's like, I take a good photo, I post a good photo, and no one sees it. And it's like, Instagram hates me. The algorithm sucks.
My inbox is crickets and spider webs.
Broken, da-da-da-da-da. And those things may be partially true.
Yeah.
But what good does it do you as the person who's attempting to generate leads and inquiries?
Zero.
It does you zero good to sit there and literally soak in your pity. So this photographer that I followed on social media for a while now, and I just now recently discovered his podcast. It's Nathan Chansky. He's a very successful wedding photographer. He's a believer. Like I really love this guy. But I was listening to an episode where he basically titled it "What to Do If Instagram Isn't Working for You," and he gave this beautiful, very simple illustration, and I'll quickly run through it. If you had a trip that you've planned, it's going to be the best trip of your life. Like you're so excited, this trip's going to be epic. There's nothing that can get in the way. But there's a departure. You had to be at the airport at 5:30 a.m. to make it to this beautiful, great trip. Well, you don't have a bicycle.
Right.
You have the most unreliable car possible. And, just odds are stacked against you about getting to that airport by 5:30.
You have an 89 Geo Metro.
Are you going to literally just sit there and say, well, I don't have a bicycle, which is like basically the same thing as saying Instagram's broken.
Right.
My car sucks. Well, the algorithm sucks.
Yeah, that's your Geo Metro.
No, you're going to make a way to get to that airport because that trip is so great, right?
It's the
like
biggest
you're
trip of your
going
lifetime.
to find a way, which is basically the same thing.
Even if you have to push the Geo Metro.
Or you get an Uber or you walk or like you're going to
Right,
make it to that airport by that time. And so basically he was saying it does you no good to sit there and sulk in your sorrows regarding the current state of Instagram, its algorithm, all those things.
Right.
You've got to make it work for you and play within the rules that are there.
Yeah.
So yes, that is very difficult. And it's very common, actually. I've heard multiple photographers talk about the current state of Instagram.
I was going to say, it's probably a weekly conversation amongst us.
But here's the thing.
You got to keep moving.
There are tons of photographers who are making really good money as a result of Instagram still today. So it's working for some.
It is. And I think it just boils down to, who are the ones that are willing to adapt and work with what they have and who is not. Like that's the difference in the ones making millions at it and the ones on the couch complaining about it.
One big thing that he talked about on Instagram specifically was he's a very, 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 very big advocate of using stories.
Yes.
Because here's the thing. Now he's in weddings, right? And so that's a little more intimate, maybe a little more like
a little more one-on-one.
But it's also like, look, I only have one wedding. So like I want to make sure that I'm making the right decision. So like the decision on your photographer is a big deal.
Yeah.
Less pressure on the like family portrait photographer, right, side of things. But all that to say, he said, look, you've got to be in your stories constantly so that people can know the human behind your photos. Just because they like your photo work may not be enough to make someone reach out for this big moment in their life. But if they love your photo work and they've been following you on social media for a while and they've been following you through your stories, letting you in on some of those personal things, maybe you let some of your humor slide through, all of those things, they know they feel like they know you.
Yeah. And this idea goes back even to, the previous industry that I was in. People attach themselves to people before they do companies.
True.
So you have to show, to your point, that you are a real human being that goes through real human being things.
Yeah.
Because they'll attach to that quicker than they will. It's no different than any advertising. You attach yourself to Michael Jordan before you find Air Jordan / Nike.
Yeah.
You attach yourself to an athlete before a company.
Right.
Nobody says my favorite athletic company is XYZ. They say my favorite basketball player is insert name.
Yeah. True. That's
so
fair.
they attach themselves to people first.
So yeah, that's just, I didn't necessarily mean to get into a tip with specifically with social media. The tip was to use social media, leverage social media,
leverage it and adapt,
and be willing to adapt to the trends and changes. Now, all you've got to do literally is watch some of those photographers. There are tons of photographers who do participate in reels, but they're not doing like elaborate cinematic.
Right, they're doing simple things in their own way.
So it's a way to use what's currently being pushed by the platform to still draw people to their ultimate medium, which is still photography.
Yeah.
Using it in a way that is helpful for them. So yeah, I would say leverage social media because it is still free, still a very good form of advertisement.
And it's to me the most, I'm going to say, well, it's the simplest way to reach the most amount of people. This will lead me kind of into the inverse of that when it comes to marketing yourself is I still to this day, and again, it's because of my background in business, I love human-to-human interaction.
Right.
So the point that I'm going to give, this is point B of this bullet point, is talk to anybody and everybody about what you're doing.
That's fair.
You know, if you're downtown and you're conversing with XYZ person, they need to know eventually in that conversation what you do.
Yeah.
And I think that's actually something that comes along pretty naturally in conversation anyways. Everybody wants to know, where are you working? What are you doing?
Yeah.
You know, where you been? So when I'm in conversation with people, and a lot of the times too, it's subliminal. I more often than not have a camera on me for multiple reasons. A, I try to shoot anything and everything that I can, but B, it's a conversation starter.
That's fair.
You know, right off the rip, somebody can see me and probably deduce the fact that I work with cameras. But there needs to be that human interaction there because to me, even though it's not the most efficient way to reach a lot of people,
right,
it goes right back to that one-on-one connection.
Yeah.
I can connect with somebody in a conversation, human to human, easier than I can through social media.
Yeah.
You know, and I can do that in a 10 to 15 minute conversation. Now, whether or not that conversation comes back to me in the form of them being a customer or whatever is neither here nor there. They at least know what I'm doing.
Well,
so
I mean,
you've got to talk to anybody and everybody.
You've seen like, well, I mean, literally, if you've ever like heard of a pyramid scheme, the same concept can technically be applied to this one-on-one situation. Yeah, like, okay, so now one person knows that I'm a photographer.
Yeah.
They may not ever be a client.
They may not need you.
They may never need my
services.
services.
Never need you.
But guess what? They come into contact with a whole lot of other
Mm-hmm.
people. So you open up the opportunity there for referrals.
Yeah.
They can say, because again, they're going to talk to people on a daily basis that you may never talk to. Yeah. But eventually they may run into someone who is looking for a family photographer and it's like, hey, you know what? I just met this dude downtown 2 days ago. Here's his name. Reach out to him.
As recently as today, the recording of this video today, just had a conversation with an entity from our past that we've worked alongside of who does not need us right now, but they were able to pass on an opportunity to us that did need us.
Right.
Or at least an inquiry.
Yeah.
So that's as recent as the recording of this video.
Right.
And that came through interaction, human connection, conversation.
Yeah. They
knew what we did, and they were able to send somebody to us that was at least looking for what we do.
Yep. Absolutely. So yeah, don't discount the in-person things. Now, I naturally am an introvert. So those situations are less, like I'm less.
You're less comfortable.
Yeah. I mean, there's.
And a lot of people are. A lot of people, and that's okay. But if it does present itself, it's okay. You know, it's okay to talk about what you do.
Yeah.
Especially if you're trying to break the ice with somebody.
Oh yeah. I mean, so like you're naturally going to, you know, in any conversation, even if you just meet somebody at the gas station or whatever, you're going to introduce yourself. And the most common thing to also do after that is say what you do. Now, you may not get to that point, but you have an opportunity to say, yeah, I'm Jared and I'm a photographer.
I think it's easier as somebody who, you know, is, let's just say, maybe you're not a full-time working photographer yet, but you want to be that. Like, you've got to start letting people know that you are that thing, or again, they're not gonna call you.
No, word of mouth is still it's probably going to give you the warmest leads.
Yeah, it'll give you the
period.
warmest opportunities. Absolutely.
Still going to be a very vital piece to almost any business model.
It's just less efficient.
It is.
It's less efficient.
You know, you take the social media approach. If you have 1,000 followers, not all 1,000 people are going to see your story
Right.
from that day, but 500 could. Now, you feasibly probably can't get
I can't get to
into
500 people in a
500
day.
one-on-one, and if you did, you'd be talked out. I mean,
I'd be out of words.
That'd be exhausting.
And I'm a talker, but I'd be out of words. Yeah.
So, yes, both of those things are very important. So, you know, to the person who's asking, how can I get started? How can I start getting paid bookings? Well, oftentimes I would suggest starting free.
Yeah.
I mean, literally, if you have the free time, like you're only shooting 2 sessions and you'd love to be booking 2 or 5 sessions, a session every evening, whatever it is, that means you've got time.
Yep.
So
fill that in with some free stuff.
Fill that in with some free work. I mean, do a bang up job though. Like don't be lazy on it just because it's free and because it's not paid.
Right.
No, this is your opportunity to really flex your muscles, really hone your skills, get better, but also you're building your portfolio and you're just giving yourself way more opportunity to post more work and ultimately have more eyes see it.
Absolutely.
So
absolutely. I like that. I think those are some points that will certainly help a few people. I know that they were things that helped us once we started getting more into a full-time situation. But it's certainly something to think of. Do some free work. Make sure that work is appropriate for what you want to be booked for.
Yeah.
You know, as far as the niche goes, leverage your social media. It's free. You don't have to pay for marketing at that point in time, and talk to anyone and everyone. I think that will give you a good base for getting some inquiries and bookings.
I'll also caution you because it's the craziest thing. You would think that it would not be difficult to book free work. But truly, there are some
people who wouldn't take it if it was free.
There are still people who will not
Right.
take free work. Like I was watching this guy's YouTube channel the other day, and he's trying to build a video business, and he doesn't have a massive clientele. He's tapped into his personal network so far, and you know he's gotten some paid work, but he's trying to do more. So he's literally calling every dentist office. He's cold calling these people, offering free video shoots. And I am still so shocked, but people are literally telling him no.
Interesting.
Telling him no. So I say all that to say, you may be offering free work and you may still get no's.
Yeah.
But again,
it's all about the numbers.
If we're going back to that 5:30 airport departure time, are you going to let that be, you know, this deterrent that keeps you from going on this trip of a lifetime?
Well,
no.
you can't.
You've got to get to the next yes.
Well, you do, because here's the thing, and you know, this may be a shocker for some people to hear, but whenever you go into business for yourself, welcome to sales.
Yeah, that's fair.
And there's one factor that remains true when it comes to selling a product, service, whatever. You have to have numbers.
Yeah.
You can't go say, I talked to one dentist office and he told me no, so now my business is gone. Like I got to shut the doors. Like, no, you got to go talk to the next dentist office. And
I'll say this too.
After that, like you've got to continue to put the roots out there per se.
If you are, and this is, I don't know that this person was. I didn't hear this person say at what phase they were not completing the booking. Now, here's the thing, something to maybe look at. If you're getting a bunch of inquiries, you're sending pricing out, then you're getting ghosted, one of two things is either the case. Either your price is too high
for what you're delivering, for the quality.
Yeah, basically the client said,
I don't trust your product for this price.
Yeah, so at that point, your pivot would need to be
raise the quality or lower the price.
Well, and you're only going to raise quality by more practice.
Right.
So you're back to free,
free or lower the price, discounts.
Discount your price because I mean, here's the thing: if you can still get bookings even at a lesser rate, I mean, who wouldn't take less money versus free? You know what I'm saying? It's like you could still make money.
Absolutely.
It just may not be what you thought you could make, but you're also still sharpening your skills.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
Yeah. Look back, do a retroactive look of like, okay, at what point in this customer
journey, where am I losing
them
in the pipeline?
Yeah, where am I losing them?
Yeah.
Oh, well, I sent out 10 inquiries, or I sent out 10 rates.
Got ghosted
last week and didn't hear back from 8 of them. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and tell you what your prices should be, but that may be
Take a look at them.
indicative of maybe I'm too high. You know, I mean, that's something
Too high,
you got to.
maybe my skill's not there, maybe my quality's not there, whatever.
Yeah. So, you know, you can also see if you take a step back and look.
Yeah.
where
Audit
you're-
yourself.
Yeah, do
an
an
audit.
audit. It's like, oh, okay. Now, if you're literally not getting the increase, that's a totally different thing.
yeah.
Then you're back to the free to fee. You just not got enough
Yeah,
work out there.
you got to get the numbers.
You got to
Gotta
get
the
volume
numbers.
out there,
Yep.
and people have got to see your stuff.
Yep.
Also, you know, a tip on social media: hashtags are still a thing. They're not as powerful, but I think it's very important to leverage tags
Yes.
on social media. So, like, let's say you do reach out to this couple, they do agree to shoot with you. You tag those people. Which a lot of people do, but some people don't. You'd be
That goes
shocked
both
to
ways too. Please, if you are, one of those customers that are receiving free work from potential professional, tag them back.
Yeah,
Tag them as your artist. That's a
yeah.
whole nother conversation.
Well,
but
yeah, I would love for absolutely. But like, what
Let's
you
all
have
tag
the
each other.
opportunity to do is if you book with that couple for free and you shoot with them, once you deliver your images, tag them. And then you also can have access to their social media network.
yep.
So like it's just again more ways for different sets of
Getting those
eyeballs,
eyeballs out
to
there.
see your work, possibly reach out to you.
Yeah.
So
on that note, there are some things that our audience can do to help us get more eyeballs to this podcast. I think that we would both like to help more people, as many people as we possibly can. What are those things, Jared?
So if you going back to the referral thing, you may not be a photographer or you may not care anything about getting more inquiries and bookings, but you may know someone who does.
Send them this episode.
Send them this episode. We would literally, that's our goal is we're twos. We're Enneagram twos. And if you don't know what that is, look it up. All we want to do is help people. So help them by, wait a second.
Help us, help them, help us, them.
Everybody gets helped.
And give us stars and bars, ratings and reviews.
Yeah, absolutely.
Ratings and reviews. We appreciate them all. We read them all,
Yes.
good and bad. They don't hurt our feelings. Also, too, going back to this, the beginning of this episode, if you would like to check out MagicMind for yourself, maybe you're looking for a little boost in energy, performance, and focus.
Nice.
And reducing that caffeine intake. Link in the description below
Yeah.
for your discount code.
Check it out.
On that note, Jared, here's the hard part.
We will see y'all later.
He didn't make that very hard. See you guys.